When I was a kid, my parents sent me to a Christian camp where they told me about Jesus. They introduced him as a God who saves. I wanted to be saved. I didn't want to go to hell. That sounded extremely unpleasant to me. So I prayed a prayer. I went home and I started reading the Bible. I got all the way through Genesis, partway through Exodus, and put a bookmark in it and closed it, never opened it again. When I moved away to college, unfortunately, I ran right to alcohol and women. Diving deeper into alcohol, I started to fail school. I started to waste my time and money, thought I had good friends, but didn't. It was at that point that I got a phone call from a girl that I had been interested in high school. We decided that we were going to date exclusively. That relationship went so fast. I had asked her to marry me, and she said yes. And we moved in together. We became pregnant shortly thereafter, and we got married, and she gave birth to our first, my son. Had a rough go in our marriage because I had expectations as to how my marriage was going to be, how my life was going to turn out, and it wasn't turning out quite the way I expected. And instead of growing and changing my expectations or forgiving those things, I sought a relationship with another woman. She suspected, and she confronted me on it. I admitted it. And we started to, the best way we know how to reconcile. She forgave me. Tragically, what happened was she tried to change herself into my unrealistic expectations. And I still didn't see the error of my ways, and I cheated on her again. What I did was wrong, and I realized that it was all my fault. And I remember crashing down on my knees and praying to God for the first time in my life. And I said, God, I was told that you're a God who saves. I don't even know what that means. But I've made a complete mess out of my life. I've destroyed the people I love most. And if I continue along this path, I don't see any way out. So I'm giving it to you. I'm giving you my marriage. I'm giving you my kids. I'm giving you my life. Over the next week or so, she did a lot of soul searching. And little did I know, in the dark moments in her life, when she was alone, she was praying that exact same prayer. After we had decided to stay together, she asked if we wanted to go to a church. That surprised me, but I think it surprised her more when I said yes. We met with the head pastor at one point because we wanted to see what Bridgewater stood for, and we asked him some really stupid questions. What impressed me the most is all the questions he answered. He didn't answer on what he thought. He didn't answer on what the church institution said. He answered out of the Bible. And it was there that I realized that the answers to life are not from people or institutions. They're from the Scripture. I started to realize that God had expectations for me. He had expectations for me as a father. He had expectations for me as a man, and he had expectations for me as a husband. And I completely failed at all of those. But he sent his son to cover those failings. It's this truth that fuels me to share with other couples that are out there the knowledge that I've been given by grace. And it's my desire to help. My name is Jim Tukanchuk, and I'm making more and better disciples.